June 1944, Normandy, France. A single German Tiger tank sits in ambush, its 88mm gun loaded, crew confident. They've destroyed dozens of Allied tanks. Their armor is virtually impenetrable. Their gun can penetrate any Allied tank from over a mile away. They are, by every technical measure, superior. Then 5 American M4 Shermans appear over the ridge. The Tiger's commander smiles. Easy targets. The Tiger fires. One Sherman explodes. The Tiger reloads. Fires again. Another Sherman burns. But the remaining 3 Shermans don't retreat. They advance from 3 different angles, firing continuously. One Sherman round finally penetrates the Tiger's thinner side armor. The mighty Tiger, which took 300,000 man-hours to build, erupts in flames. German High Command called this ratio acceptable losses. They calculated correctly that it took 5 Shermans to kill 1 Tiger. Here's what they didn't calculate. America built 49,234 Shermans. Germany built 1,347 Tigers. The math was brutal. Even if every Tiger destroyed 5 Shermans, America would still have 42,499 Shermans rolling toward Berlin. German generals laughed at the Sherman, called it a Ronson lighter because it lights first time every time. They built technologically superior monsters. The Tiger with its legendary 88mm gun, the Panther with sloped armor copied from Soviet T-34s, the King Tiger weighing 68 tons of Teutonic engineering perfection. And they lost. Not because American tanks were better, because America built them faster than Germany could destroy them. But how did a medium tank, outgunned, outarmored, and nicknamed the Death Trap by its own crews, become the weapon that crushed the Wehrmacht steel pride? To understand how American industry turned acceptable losses into Germany's worst nightmare, we need to examine what made German commanders so confident. By 1943, Germany possessed what military historians agree was the most technologically advanced armored force on Earth. The Tiger I, introduced in August 1942, was a fortress on tracks. Its 88mm KWK 36 gun could kill at 3,280 yards, over a mile and a half. Front armor measured 100mm thick, proof against every Allied tank gun at combat range. On the Eastern Front, Tigers achieved a documented 9.4 to 1 kill ratio. Soviet and American crews would often retreat at mere identification. The Panther, deployed in July 1943, was even more dangerous. Its 75mm KWK 42 gun fired with higher velocity than the Tiger's 88mm. Revolutionary sloped armor design meant 80mm plates angled at 55 degrees, equivalent to 140mm of protection. At 34 miles per hour, it was faster than any Allied medium tank. Hitler called it the finest tank in the world. German tankers agreed. German confidence was built on documented battlefield success. North Africa, 1943. A single Tiger commanded by SS Hauptsturmführer Michael Wittmann destroyed 13 British tanks and 14 armored vehicles in 15 minutes during the Battle of Villers-Bocage. British forces withdrew from the entire sector. Eastern Front, 1943 to 1944. Panthers routinely engaged Soviet T-34s beyond 2,000 yards, ranges where Soviet guns couldn't penetrate, but German guns killed with 1 shot. Captured German documents reveal their assessment of Allied armor. Intelligence report, Panzer Lehr Division, May 1944, American M4 Sherman presents minimal threat to Panther or Tiger units. Front armor is penetrable at all combat ranges. Their 75mm gun cannot harm our front armor beyond 500 meters. Expected kill ratio, minimum 5-to-1 in our favor. Wehrmacht Panzer Commander's Handbook, 1944, the Sherman's mechanical reliability is its only advantage. Tactically, it is a target, not a threat. German generals believed their superior engineering would compensate for lower production numbers. Field Marshal von Rundstedt stated in Intercepted Communications, "Quality defeats quantity. Always has. Always will." German newsreels showed Tigers crushing through Allied positions. Propaganda Minister Goebbels called them invincible steel lions. The German army entered 1944, believing 1 Tiger equaled 5 Shermans, and that this ratio would win the war. While German propaganda celebrated their steel monsters, American planners were quietly solving a completely different equation. When the first M4 Shermans rolled off assembly lines in February 1942, they immediately faced harsh reality checks from every direction. The technical disadvantages were stark and well documented. Armor protection. Sherman front hull armor measured 51 millimeters at vertical angle. Effective protection, equivalent to just 51 millimeters. German Panther, 80 millimeters at 55 degrees equals 140 millimeters equivalent protection. Every German tank gun could penetrate Sherman front armor at combat range. Gun performance. The M375 millimeters gun could penetrate 60 millimeters of armor at 500 yards. Insufficient to penetrate Tiger front armor at any practical range. Insufficient to penetrate Panther front armor beyond 200 yards. Weight and mobility trade-off. At 30 tons, the Sherman was 26 tons lighter than a Panther, 30 tons lighter than a Tiger. This meant speed, 24 miles per hour, but vulnerability. Allied commanders expressed documented skepticism. British General Bernard Montgomery, internal memo, August 1942, "The Sherman is adequate for the Desert War, but I fear it will prove insufficient against improved German armor we anticipate." Soviet Marshal Georgy Zhukov, regarding Lend-Lease Shermans, 1943, "Your tanks burn too easily. Our crews call them grave for 7 brothers." American tank crews knew the truth immediately. Belton Y. Cooper, 3rd Armored Division maintenance officer, witnessed the harsh mathematics. "In the Normandy campaign, we lost an average of 1 Sherman for every 10 kilometers advanced. Some battalions lost 500% of their authorized tank strength, every tank destroyed and replaced 5 times over." Lieutenant William Chapman, 2nd Armored Division, diary entry June 1944, "The Germans told us their tank is worth 5 of ours. We told them we'd brought 6. The American press wasn't confident either." Life magazine, March 1943, "America's Sherman, can it match Germany's Tigers?" Time magazine, September 1943, "The tank gap, are American crews outgunned?" The math looked impossible. If German tanks were technically superior, and if engagement ratios favored Germany 5-to-1, how could America possibly win? Every military analyst saw the same problem. American tanks were individually inferior. What they didn't see was American industry preparing to turn inferior into irrelevant. The Sherman didn't win because it was the best tank. It won because American planners asked a different question: what's the best tank we can build 50,000 of? The answer revolutionized armored warfare. Strategic decision, standardization over superiority. 1941, Detroit. Army Ordnance Department meets with automotive executives. The mandate is clear. Design a tank that every automotive factory in America can build. The result: revolutionary modular design documented in declassified engineering specifications. Interchangeable components. 75% of Sherman parts were standardized across manufacturers. A transmission built in Detroit fit perfectly in a tank assembled in Chicago. Multi-manufacturer production. 11 different companies built Shermans. Chrysler, Ford, General Motors, Fisher Body, Press Steel, Pacific Car and Foundry, Federal Machine, Baldwin Locomotive, American Locomotive, Pullman Standard, Lima Locomotive. Automotive technology transfer. Sherman used modified truck engines, commercial transmissions, and automotive assembly techniques. Workers who built Chevrolets on Monday could build Shermans by Wednesday. Production numbers tell the story. 1942, 1,690 Shermans produced. 1943, 21,245 Shermans produced. 1944, 17,181 Shermans produced. 1945, 8,118 Shermans produced through May. Peak production rate, 2,000 Shermans per month. Germany's response, 104 Panthers per month. The reliability revolution. What American tankers lost in armor, they gained in mechanical reliability, a calculated strategic choice. U.S. Army Ordnance Testing. Data, 1943. M4 Sherman achieves 90% operational availability rate. Mechanical failures requiring major repair, 1 per 500 miles. German Panther comparison. Operational availability, 55%. Final drive failure rate, 1 per 150 kilometers. Field Marshal Erwin Rommel noticed this in North Africa. Captured letter, 1943. The Americans lose tanks in battle, but every tank we destroy, 2 more appear the next day. Our Panthers are superior when they run, but they spend more time being repaired than fighting. Logistics innovation. Sherman's genius wasn't just in Detroit, it was in the supply chain. Replaceable components. Damaged Shermans could be repaired in field conditions. German Panthers required specialized facilities. Spare parts abundance. U.S. supply doctrine mandated 40% spare parts allocation. Result: damaged Shermans back in action within 48 hours. Crew replaceability. Sherman's 5-man crew meant training pipelines could sustain losses. Simple controls meant new crews operational within weeks, not months. General George Patton understood the equation. Documented quote, 1944, "I'd rather have a good tank I can count on tomorrow than a perfect tank that won't start today." The strategic calculation. U.S. Army Planning Document 1943, accept 3-to-1 casualty ratio in armor engagements. Industrial capacity ensures arithmetic victory. For every tank lost, replace with 2. Enemy cannot match replacement rate. American commanders weren't just planning to win battles, they were planning to outlast German industrial capacity. Spring 1944. Southern England has become the largest military staging area in human history. Operation Overlord Logistics, documented by Supreme Headquarters Allied Expeditionary Force. Sherman concentration. 2,395 M4 Shermans in England by June 1, 1944. Daily arrival rate. 47 Shermans per day arriving from American factories. Replacement pool. 800 additional Shermans in reserve depots. Monthly replacement allocation. 300 Shermans designated for battle damage replacement. Meanwhile, German intelligence was finally doing the math. Intercepted Abwehr report, May 1944. Allied armor concentration Britain exceeds previous estimates by factor of 3. Recommend immediate panzer reinforcement Normandy sector. But Germany's production couldn't respond. German monthly tank production, May 1944. Panthers, 104 units. Tigers, 42 units. Total, 146 heavy and medium tanks. American monthly production, Same period. Shermans, 1,641 units. American advantage, 11-to-1 production ratio. German commanders in France were increasingly concerned. Field Marshal von Rundstedt intercepted communication to OKW May 18, 1944. Intelligence reports indicate massive Allied armor superiority. Request reinforcement Panzerlehr, 12th SS, 21st Panzer Divisions. Current Panzer strength insufficient. Response from Hitler's headquarters. Panzers must remain Pas de Calais for primary invasion. Quality will defeat quantity. Panzerlehr Division Commander Fritz Bayerlein documented his pre-invasion assessment. Our 190 tanks face estimated 1,500 Allied tanks. However, our Tigers and Panthers maintain 5-to-1 technical advantage. Mathematics favor defense if we prevent breakthrough. The American strategy was different. General Eisenhower's planning directive to armored commanders, May 1944, accept initial engagement casualties. Focus on sustained pressure. Replace losses immediately. Enemy cannot sustain extended attrition. Lieutenant General Omar Bradley documented pre-invasion briefing. We will lose Shermans. Many Shermans. But for every tank we lose, we'll have 2 more tomorrow. The Germans can't say the same. By June 5, 1944, the stage was set. British beaches. 842 Shermans, including British modified variants. American beaches. 1,553 Shermans. German defenders. 281 tanks, all types, including obsolete French captures. Initial armor ratio, 8.5-to-1 Allied advantage, but German commanders still believed their Tiger and Panther quality advantage would compensate. Panzer Commander, Autocarius Memoir, we knew they had more tanks. We knew ours were better. We thought that would be enough. It wouldn't be. June 6, 1944, 0630 hours. The first Shermans hit Omaha Beach. German defenders opened fire, confident in their fortress positions. Then they saw what was coming behind the first wave. The Battle of Normandy, June to August 1944, became the proving ground where American industrial might crushed German technical excellence through relentless arithmetic. D-Day, June 6th. The landing, 0730 hours, Omaha Beach. First DD, duplex drive, Sherman's reach shore. German 88mm guns open fire from bunkers. Of 32 DD Shermans launched, 27 sink in rough seas or are destroyed on beach. German defenders report, American tanks destroyed in large numbers. Defense holding. 0845 hours. Second wave of Shermans arrives. Then third wave. Then fourth. By 1200 hours, 89 Shermans operational on Omaha Beach despite 67 destroyed. German commanders express confusion in intercepted messages. Enemy armor continues landing despite losses. The pattern repeats across all sectors. Gold Beach, British Shermans suffer 40% losses to German 88s and mines, but 219 Shermans operational by evening. Juno Beach, Canadian Shermans lose 42 tanks, 134 remain operational, continue advance. Sword Beach, 28 Shermans destroyed, 97 operational, push inland 6 kilometers. German after-action report, 21st Panzer Division, June 6th. We destroyed enemy tanks in great numbers, but they continue to advance. Request immediate reinforcement. Current ammunition stocks insufficient for sustained engagement. The 1st Panzer vs. Sherman battle, Villers-Bocage, June 13th. Michael Whitman's Tiger ambushes British 7th Armored Division column. 13 minutes of engagement. 13 British tanks destroyed. 14 half-tracks destroyed. 0 Tiger losses. German High Command celebrates. Propaganda Ministry broadcasts Whitman's victory as proof of Tiger superiority. What propaganda didn't mention? By June 14th, British 7th Armored receives 28 replacement Shermans from reserve pool. By June 15th, reformed, back in offensive operations. Whitman's Tiger requires specialized maintenance after engagement, out of action 3 days. Battle of Cannes, June 25th to July 18th. German defenders, 140 Panthers and Tigers, elite SS Panzer divisions. Allied attackers, 1,400 Shermans, British and Canadian armor divisions. The grinding mathematics. Week 1. Germans destroy 247 Shermans. Allied replacement. 312 Shermans from England depots. Week 2. Germans destroy 189 Shermans. German losses: 31 Panthers destroyed, 42 damage beyond field repair. Week 3. German Panzer operational strength drops to 87 tanks. Allied operational strength: 1,276 Shermans. Panzer Lehr Division Commander Fritz Bayerlein captured diary, June 28th. We kill their tanks at 5-to-1 ratio exactly as predicted, but they replace losses overnight. We cannot. July 3rd. Our kill ratio now 7-to-1. We are becoming more effective. Yet, we are losing. July 8th. We have 32 operational panzers. Yesterday, we destroyed 45 enemy tanks. Today, 60 enemy tanks attack. Where do they come from? July 12th. I finally understand. We face not an army but a factory. We can kill their tanks faster than they can kill ours, but they build tanks faster than we can kill them. The mathematics are impossible. Operation Cobra Breakthrough, July 25th to 31st. American Armor Commitment. 750 Shermans initial assault. German defenders, 89 operational panzers. U.S. 3rd Armored Division after-action report. Suffered 54 tank losses July 25th to 26th. Received 67 replacement vehicles July 26th to 27th. Resumed offensive operations without pause. By July 31st, American Shermans had broken through German lines. Not because they won individual tank duels, because there were always more Shermans than the Germans could destroy. August 1944. The German army in France was dissolving not from tactical failure, but from industrial impossibility. The Falaise Pocket, August 12th to 21st. German armor's death trap. Trap German forces. Remnants of 12 divisions, including elite SS Panzer units. Operational panzers. 73 Tigers, Panthers, and Mark IVs. Surrounding Allied armor. 1,247 Shermans and British tanks. The pocket closed August 21st. German armor losses: 344 tanks destroyed or abandoned, all types. 67 tanks captured intact but out of fuel. 19 tanks successfully escaped encirclement. Captured German officer interrogation reports reveal the psychological breaking point. SS Hauptsturmführer Paul Egger, 12th SS Panzer Division, interrogation transcript August 23rd. We maintain superiority in every engagement. Our kill ratios exceeded 8-to-1 on some days. It made no difference. On August 15th, my company destroyed 22 enemy tanks. I lost 3 Panthers. I reported this to headquarters as a victory. August 16th, enemy attacked with 40 tanks. Where did 40 tanks come from? We had killed 22 tanks yesterday. August 17th, we destroyed 18 more enemy tanks. Lost 2. Panthers to mechanical failure. No spare parts available. August 18th, enemy attacked with 35 tanks. I had 7 Panthers operational, 7 against 35. We fought magnificently. Tactically, we won every engagement. Strategically, we lost the war. You cannot kill them faster than they arrive. Field Marshal Walter Model, Commanding Army Group B, encrypted communication to OKW, August 18th, decrypted via Ultra. Panzer Force attrition rate exceeds replacement capacity by factor of 7. Enemy replacement rate exceeds our destruction rate by factor of 3. Mathematics render continued defense untenable. Request authorization strategic withdrawal. Hitler's response: no withdrawal. Superior German technology will prevail. By August 25th, the German army in France effectively ceased to exist as an organized force. Armor losses June 6th to August 25th. German losses: 1,347 panzers, all types destroyed, captured, or abandoned. German replacements received: 184 panzers, net negative 1,163 tanks. Allied losses same period: 2,811 Shermans and other Allied tanks destroyed. Allied replacements received: 3,967 tanks, net positive 1,156 tanks. The Germans had actually achieved better than 5-to-1 kill ratio. They destroyed 2,811 Allied tanks while losing only 1,347 of their own. They still lost. Captured Panther commander, anonymous interrogation, September 1944. We were told German engineering was superior. It was. We were told 1 Panther equaled 5 Shermans. It did. What we were not told: America built 5 Shermans for everyone we destroyed, and then built 5 more. September 1944. Allied armies reached German borders. The Shermans' industrial victory had transformed the entire strategic situation. Supreme Headquarters Allied Expeditionary Force Strategic Assessment, September 15, 1944. Armored superiority achieved and maintained through industrial replacement capacity rather than technical superiority. Enemy panzer forces operationally destroyed. Replacement rates ensure Allied armor advantage sustainable indefinitely. The numbers told the story. Allied operational tank strength, September 1944, 4,847 tanks, 3,211 Shermans. German operational tank strength, all fronts, 847 panzers. Battle of the Bulge, December 1944. The final test, Hitler's last gamble. Ardennes offensive with 3 panzer armies. German armor committed: 406 panzers, including 45 Tigers, 178 Panthers. Initial German success. Surprise offensive destroyed or captured 228 American tanks in first 48 hours. American response. December 18th. Emergency redeployment, 347 Shermans from reserve depots. December 19th. Patton's 3rd Army pivots north, 312 Shermans. December 20th to 22nd. Additional reinforcements, 267 Shermans from England. By December 23rd, American armor in Ardennes sector, 1,089 Shermans despite losses. German after-action assessment, January 1945, captured document. Offensive achieved tactical surprise and initial success. However, enemy armor replacement rate negated initial German advantage within 96 hours. By December 25th, German forces faced 3-to-1 armor disadvantage despite initial 2-to-1 advantage. Enemy industrial capacity, decisive factor in operational failure. Panzer Commander's bitter realization. Otto Carius, Memoir regarding Battle of the Bulge. We destroyed hundreds of their tanks. They brought thousands. We fought with everything we had. They fought with everything America could build. These are not the same thing. The strategic transformation. Soviet front. Red Army offensive January 1945, equipped with 1,250 Lend-Lease Shermans in addition to Soviet tanks. Western Front. Allied armor advantage reaches 8-1 by February 1945. German production. Total Panzer production January to March 1945, 287 tanks, all types. American production same period, 3,911 Shermans. The industrial mathematics had become impossible. British intelligence assessment, February 1945. German armored forces capability reduced to local defensive actions only. Strategic mobile warfare beyond German capacity. Enemy replacement. Rate insufficient to compensate combat losses. Field Marshal Albert Kesselring, commanding Western Front, private communication intercepted March 1945. We built the finest tanks in the world. The enemy built enough tanks to bury us in steel. In war, enough defeats finest. The Sherman's victory wasn't just operational. It fundamentally changed how military strategists thought about armored warfare. Military historians and strategic analysts now recognize the M4 Sherman as the weapon that proved industrial capacity matters more than technical perfection in modern warfare. U.S. Army Armor School, Fort Knox analysis: the Sherman tank represents a fundamental strategic insight. In sustained conflict between industrial powers, production capacity, and logistical sustainability constitute decisive factors exceeding importance of individual weapon system technical characteristics. The numbers that changed military doctrine. Total Sherman production: 49,234 units, all variants. Production by variant. M4 original 75 mm, 6,748. M4A1, 6,281. M4A2, 8,053. M4A3, 11,424. M4A4, 7,499. Specialized variants, 105 mm, 76 mm, etc., 9,229. Comparative Axis production, all medium and heavy tanks combined. German total, 9,068 tanks, Panthers, Tigers, Mark IVs combined. Japanese total, 2,464 medium tanks, all types. America produced 4.3 times more Shermans than Germany and Japan built tanks combined. The strategic lesson. National Defense University study, Industrial Warfare in World War II. The Sherman Doctrine established that weapon system design must optimize for 1. Mass production capacity, 2. Mechanical reliability, 3. Logistical sustainability for crew survivability and replacement, 5. Technical adequacy in that priority order. Technical superiority alone cannot overcome industrial inadequacy. Post-war influence. The Sherman principle influenced Cold War military planning. Soviet T-54-55. Simple, reliable, mass-producible, 31,000 built, most produced tank in history. American M60 Patton, evolutionary Sherman descendant, prioritized reliability and production capacity. Current Abrams doctrine includes strategic reserve and rapid replacement planning. Academic historical assessment. Dr. Stephen Zaloga, Armored Thunderbolt. The Sherman was criticized for decades as inadequate. Modern analysis reveals it was exactly adequate, and adequacy in sufficient numbers proved decisive. The Sherman didn't need to be the best tank. It needed to be the tank America could build 50,000 of while fighting on 4 continents simultaneously. The British perspective. British Tank Museum educational materials. British commanders initially requested only Churchills and Cromwells for combat. By 1944, British armored divisions relied primarily on Shermans, not for technical superiority, but for guaranteed availability. A Sherman might not survive its first engagement, but its replacement would arrive within 48 hours. The Forgotten Victory. U.S. Army official history notes. American tankers criticized the Sherman throughout the war, justifiably, as they faced German guns from inferior positions. What crews didn't see? Their sacrifice wasn't futile. Every destroyed Sherman was immediately replaced. Every German tank destroyed was not. The strategic victory came not from individual battles, but from cumulative attrition Germany couldn't match. The mathematical legacy. Modern military logistics planning incorporates Sherman doctrine principles, sustainable replacement rates, supply chain resilience, production surge capacity, technical adequacy threshold versus perfect performance. Most significant statistical legacy. Sherman combat losses, entire war, approximately 8,000 destroyed in combat. German production, entire war, 9,068 total medium and heavy tanks. America lost almost as many Shermans as Germany built tanks, and still had 41,000 Shermans remaining.